Yo, it's me again, Double NKH, with another fast-paced review video. This one, we're still out in Arizona, and well, Mango Power has sent us this 3.5 kilowatt solar generator slash backup battery. So unboxed it the other night when we were at Tony's house, and came very well packaged, no damage at all. The included accessories would be your owner's manual, which I'll show you later. Then it comes with the AC charging cable, which you do need the 20 amp outlet that has the one going perpendicular to the other. So, you can't plug that into every extension cord. And then a plug cable for using solar panels. Now you can get 200 watt solar panels with this, but unfortunately they didn't have them in stock quite yet. So in this review video, we'll just show you what it's all about and how well it holds up on our trip. These does have the cells in it are by CATL. Nice heavy duty wheels on it, and overall construction, very beefy. Like these handles on here, no flex at all. One feature I really like is the handle. You just push in on that, and then you have a few different height settings. So you can roll this guy around because it is very heavy. I will put its weight right here, since I don't have a scale on me right now or all the specs. But on this side, here's your inputs for charging it. So you got a solar input up to 2,000 watts, grid AC input up to 3,000 watts, and then an E-Link port. You can actually link two of these together, or they also have a backup battery, that like an extra battery that can go on the top, and that's what this, I believe, bottom port would be for. Let's pop this cover off. So that cover's a little tight getting off. Definitely needs some kind of a screwdriver to pop that off, unless you got really strong hands, but there is a look at the ports. You see, since we've already had it for a few days, already putting scuffs and damage on it. And in those few days, this thing has really come in clutch. I was even able to recharge the battery for the Magicycle electric bike. So here's a look at all the parts on it. Power switch, you just hit that once, and then you have an LCD that's gonna power up here. However, this is down to 3%, I think, so we'll see if it even, yeah, it's firing up. So this AC outlet, 30 amp, it's got the RV three prong on there. You got two USB-C supercharged, so 65 watt, 100 watt, and you got two 12 volt at 5 amp, your standard DC outlets. You got the 12 volt cigarette lighter style or car outlet rated at 10 amps. And you have four 20 amp AC outlets, and down here you have 6 USB-C. So this thing is fully loaded. These are rated at 27 watts each. Here's a look at the LCD touchscreen. You see we're down to 3%, and right here it shows your remaining time left on the battery. So of course, if you were running the fan right now, that would be a lot less, but since it's not putting out any power, it's showing 2 hours, 53 minutes just to keep itself alive. On the left, you have some indicators. So that's going to be the charge status, your Bluetooth status, Wi-Fi, extra battery indicator, double power indicator. To turn the AC outlets on, you simply tap that, and then you're going to hear a click. There it is. That's the solenoid hitting it on, and it's showing 2 watt AC. I don't know why. Well, there it goes back to 0 watt, and then turn the DC outlets on. Same type deal. Now it'll beep a few times. I'm not sure why, and then it's on. And one thing I did notice, if you're charging a cell phone down here, something really low power demand, this may time out and turn it off after a while. So you do have to watch it. If you plug a cell phone in and you expect it to charge all night, sometimes it won't. Basically, when it detects little to no load, it'll automatically shut off after a certain amount of time, from what I noticed. Up top, you have your solar input and then the grid input. So at this point, with being down to 3%, I'm gonna plug it into the grid, and I'll let you know how long it takes to get back up to 100%. It's gonna be the center plug. You line the 2 white dots up. It is keyed, so you wouldn't be able to put it on wrong. Push it in, thread that down, and we are hooked to the grid. We can see our charging indicators yellow now, and the grid voltage at 348, 439. That should start ramping up. And a couple minutes later, we can see it's reached a max input of 452 watts coming from the grid. So I'm guessing we would hit this quick charge now, but before I do that, let's go into settings and just see. So max AC input is up at the 30 amps. Backup battery, we don't have that. Okay, let's hit quick charge, see what that does. That should bump it up, I would think. Oh, yeah, there it goes. Now it's starting to ramp up the wattage. A couple minutes later, you see we're up at almost 3,000 watts, which, well, that's probably going to end up popping the 20 amp breaker, 3,200 watts. Of course, we don't have this hooked up to the 30 amp cable either, so I'll probably go in the settings and change that. But let's see if this pops the breaker that we're plugged into right now, because we're on a 20 amp breaker. And you hear the fan. Oh, there goes the breaker. You hear the fans that kicked up on this too. I'll flick that back on and we'll come back into the settings and go 15 amps. Sucks there's not a 20 amp on there. And then see what it does. All right, so now it's down to 1800 watts. That's better for that. That's a 20 amp breaker mode. That's a little bit better for a 20 amp breaker. Because that's what, 2400 watts, right? So what if I hit quick charge now on the 15 amp? Let's see what it ramps it up to. That keeps it at 1650 watts. So I'll leave it there. I just set my timer, so I'll let you know how long it takes to get from 10% to 100%. 2 hours later, and we're up to 86%. And 20 minutes later, we're up to 100%. Now, that was a pretty quick charge, I'd say. You see, we're still pulling 6 watts from the grid. Not sure why, but that's no big deal. Here's another example of how convenient the Mango Power is. We're about to go hit the roads. I got the laptop set up here. Another hour before this is rendered, this video here. It's pulling 117 watts. So if you don't leave it plugged in, it will surely kill the battery. And yeah, now we can go drive. We're back home from the trip, and I gotta say, this really came in handy for when we were camping with no power, for charging the bicycle batteries, charging our phones, running some power tools. I ran an 8 amp, which is what, like 900 watt leaf blower on it or so. Worked flawlessly. A few more things I want to test. But here's the style plug I was saying you do need that style to be able to charge it. And be careful with the charge cable to get, because if I plug this in to the generator right now, hopefully you guys can hear me okay with over the background noise, but these are open. I guess I'd call this almost like a Widowmaker plug, because if I plug this in here and then you hold your fingers, well, you're gonna get zapped. So that's kind of not a good design. Those shouldn't be exposed like that. But I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in and bring it up from, we're down at 32%. I charge it some with the generators. Let's plug your cable in, see what it does. So far, this is on eco mode, no load. This says detected. I'm gonna go quick charge. Get here, put a little bit of load, and it should ramp it up. Oh yeah, 850. Yep, there it goes. This is only rated at 13.3 amps. That was really cool to listen to it slowly ramp it up though. Now I got it on 10 amp quick charge to see what it does. We can hold that. Yeah, there we go. Holding 1100 watts, no problem. So I'm gonna let that go to town, charging at 1100 watts. Main reason is to run that old gas out, and then I got some ethanol-free gas I'm gonna fill it up with. This combination is great for if you're camping somewhere where they have limited generator hours. So you can be using this all night, making no noise, and then in the morning, you know, when you can make noise, fire that up, charge up your battery, and you're going to be good for the rest of the day. I don't know if you guys noticed the turbine sound out of the exhaust, but I usually have this on there. It looks like something made a nest, so it had a restriction. Opened up a little power on her. Might be able to pull a little bit more juice than 1100. There we go, 15 amp quick charge, 1750 watts. Couldn't do that with the restriction before. Now it's fine. And a while later, we're up to 100%. Check out that combo. Perfect for unlimited power, really. I mean, a gallon of gas will get you a long way with this setup. So we'll top this off with ethanol free and then chime back. Because while it's still light out, I want to go work on the Torino a little bit, get started on that video. What you doing over here, Bubs? What are you doing? Yep, getting into the winter. Days are getting shorter. Check out this little setup. I did a pipe coming off of here with a tarp rolled around it so you can pull out more if needed, and then keeping the Africa Twin back here. That way it's out of the elements for the most part, and it's just a lot more convenient than trying to shuffle it around the backyard or around vehicles. So you can pull this out and you're on the road lickety split. I think one of the last things to do is some high wattage loads. I got essentially a load bank. You know, this is 1875 watts. That's 1800 watts resistive loads. Thermal elements, and I forget if I mentioned earlier about the fast charging. They do sell a 30 amp cable. This only comes with the 20 amp cable, so if you want that full 30 amp charging, you'd have to buy that accessory. Now you guys probably won't be able to see the screen too well, but I'll let you know how many wattage, how many watts it's pulling. Let's fire this up on high, and I'll put that over there so it's not making too much noise. On the screen, that's settled at 1640 watts. Now I'm gonna fire up this toaster, both sides. Didn't really hear any slowdown on the hair dryer, and we're up to 3,129, 3,100 watts. So I'm gonna let that run for a few minutes and make sure that it can hold that load no problem. I hear the fans kicked on and it's holding that 3100 watt load just fine. Toaster's still kicking empty. I'm gonna put the bench grinder in the mix down on low. Let's see. And then I have a twist dial here. We can up the amperage. So we're at 3347. Now I'm gonna keep spinning this up. Spin the speed up some. And at full speed, that didn't change it much because there's not a lot of load on the grinder. It's okay, we got the Wagner power stripper. That will blow the breaker, if the breaker works in this. There it goes, okay. So it popped, it overloaded this and shut off the machine. Now we make sure this turns back on. We'll unplug everything. I don't see any breaker switch on it, so I'm gonna go ahead and just hold the power button. And I see it lit up now, okay. So it probably just had to, maybe it might have a circuit breaker in there that once it cools down, it auto resets. I'm not sure, but the circuit protection does work. And I think I can pretty much wrap this video up here. I've seen what makes me think it's a pretty decent unit. Charging out in the full sun in the desert, didn't overheat. We put extensive loads on it, bounced it around, banging it around, it held up, hasn't caught on fire or anything. And well, it's actually the largest battery bank that I have at 3,600 watts. And as you can see, I mean, it can take, you could be welding and plasma cutting at the same time through this. What I do wish is that it had originally I thought this might have been a 240 volt outlet, but it's not. So it'd be nice if it had that and I could hook it up, right back feed my house through the panel there, like I do with the generator, and then you could, you know, supplement the EU2000 to charge this, and it'd be great, but it's not 240 volts, so I'll have to look into if their extra battery does turn it into dual 120s, and you can have one 240. Anyway, I'm just rambling now, guys. I'm gonna wrap the video up now. Give it a thumbs up. And I was jumping on their website. Again, they are, I think I said it earlier, but they're a relatively newer company. But if you're looking for a decent unit, definitely, you know, shop around, but check them out. I'm no battery bank or solar generator expert, but I can say it's working for me. Of course, we haven't tried out the solar charging yet since I don't have the panels for this, but maybe in a future video. So thanks so much for tuning into this one. Hopefully you got something out of it or found it informative. And I will see you in another review probably pretty soon, because got plenty of those coming up. No nonsense, no how. RRM, over out. Here's a brief look through the owner's manual, or quick start manual. It's not very in-depth, but I'll just let you guys see each page so you can pause that and hopefully be able to zoom in and read everything on here. I'm sure this manual will end up being a little bit different as this unit comes out onto the market, but hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of some of the features and cover anything that I may have missed in the video. Of course, you have the app, which we didn't go into on this.
Oh yeah, he's got it right here. He's doing.
And then there's the safety rules and the company information.